The most important skill set that you can possess if you're a videographer, a filmmaker, a video agency owner is the art of patience. It is not often something that we keep at the front of our mind. Usually we're focused on gear, we're focused on getting better at editing, we're focused on making the best looking lighting situations and compositions. I think you will find that that can only get you so far. That's really exciting for the first 1 year, 2 years, maybe going on 3 years. At a certain point in time though, that momentum and that excitement for learning these skill sets, that's gonna start to wear off, and we really have to dig into sales and marketing, which can sound and seem intimidating, a little bit scary at the start, but it is not. It's actually a lot of fun because it's just a bunch of conversations basically. And if you're doing it right, you're looking for the types of clients that you get along with anyways, and you just want to actually have conversations with them. To give you some context for what I mean by needing to have patience in sales and marketing, if you're approaching marketing, you need to have the patience to test, right? So testing takes a lot of patience. So does analyzing the data that comes back, because you're marketing for your own company. So you're creating content, you're putting it out there, you're seeing if something else happens from putting that content out. And along with this marketing, we move over to the sales side of things. And in sales, patience is everything, because you don't want to sell to someone who doesn't want it, right? This is going to give you a massive headache, and at the end of the day, it's going to take a lot of your energy, and it's going to really deter you from wanting to continue doing this thing. You want to find people who fit, right? You want to work with people who fit into what it is that you do. And you should be excited to have conversations with these types of people. And you will know if you're having a conversation with somebody that is going to turn into something, and you're having a conversation with somebody who is going to have a nice, long, and prosperous relationship with you, because that's why we're doing this. We want to have consistency and sustainability in our business. To give you some context as to how I came across this and what exactly I'm talking about here as far as patience goes, 2 years ago, I moved to a new city. I left all of my clients back in my hometown. It's 2 hours away. And 10 days after I got to this new city, I got hit by a car and I broke my leg. 1 year ago, I was kind of hobbling around and doing a little bit better, and it was time to start reaching out and getting some new clients. So what I did was I made a list, right? And on this list, I had contractors, I had arborists, and I had marketing agencies. Now, the idea of reaching out to marketing agencies came from the first 2-3 years of having my business. I had 2 marketing agencies that I did a lot of work with, and it was very consistent, and it was extremely fulfilling, actually. I learned a lot from working with those marketing agencies, and I saw it as a cool little hack to just boost my revenue. Of course, you would not get a retainer or anything like that from working with a marketing agency. They are their own entity, and they're going to have their client base, and a gig's going to come up, and they're going to spit it out to you. So I created this list of 10 marketing agencies, right? And that's kind of like a good number to reach for and maybe 1 in 10 is going to get back to you. And that is exactly what happened for me 1 year ago. So 2 years ago, break my leg. 1 year ago, I reached out to these marketing agencies. The one marketing agency did get back to me, and they actually wanted to meet me. It was 20 minutes from my house. So I went into their office and I had a meeting with them. And in this meeting, we talked about what I do, what they do, and why I might be a good fit. It was very casual. I wasn't selling anything. I wasn't going in hard and saying, I need you to give me these jobs, let's work together. It was more just, hey, I exist, I'm new in town, I'm looking for marketing agencies, new clients, people who might want to work with me. And the meeting went well. So, that was, again, a year ago. And throughout the past year, this lady that works for the owner, she reached out to me every couple months and she said, hey Jay, we got this gig. Can you give me an estimate? And I would give an estimate. And this happened probably 4 times. And every single time it didn't turn into anything, but whatever, just keep finding new projects to work on. But then I just signed this deal with them for a $7,000 project. So it's a couple days of shooting, a couple days of editing, and that's awesome. But it took an entire year to gain that opportunity. Now, gaining consistency is very difficult, and having the level of patience required to scale your business to each next plateau is extremely challenging, because what tends to happen as we're having conversations with people, we're getting excited about selling, we're getting excited about the fact that we can do this gig, we can make these series of videos, or we can sign this retainer, and that's gonna solve all my problems. I'll be making this much money per month now, and that's gonna be really awesome. So we can tend to get extremely overexcited and kind of put all of our eggs in that single potential client basket. This is not a good thing to do, because we should never expect things, and we should never demand or depend on things that are external from ourselves. The only person that we should expect things from or demand things from is ourselves. So what can we control? You can't control how a conversation is going to go. You can do your best, and you can make arguments towards the fact that you are a great person for them to be working with. But at the end of the day, they're only going to work with you if they want to. And that is how it should be. You should never force somebody to work with you. You should never use slimy sales tactics and be overly aggressive in your sales strategy, because it puts a bad taste in people's mouths. I've done it a lot, and it sucks the life right out of you, and it is not an enjoyable experience for anybody. So you're looking for people that want to work with you, and you want to work with them. It all starts with you. You found them and you started the conversation. And now it's your job to sort of nurture them through the process of understanding why working with you is going to be really good. Going back to this marketing agency that I had the conversation with, and now 1 year later, they've signed a $7,000 deal with me. Throughout that entire year, I wasn't sitting there by the phone waiting for them to get back to me. I wasn't waiting for a project with them. They were just one of hundreds of potential opportunities that could fall in my lap and become a profit in my business. The key here is to understand that patience is a virtue. As cornball as that feels to say out loud, the cliches are generally pretty true. I would consider myself a very patient person. I've always been patient. However, there have been a lot of times in my life where I lost my patience with a person or an inanimate object. And every single time I lost my patience, it was always because I wasn't working on things in my life that actually helped to improve my levels of patience. So that kind of becomes the secret, this whole idea of working in your business and working on your business. When you're working in your business, you're sending invoices, you're doing emails, you're doing calls, meetings, you're shooting, you're editing, creating concepts, you're writing scripts. That's working in your business. Working on your business is actually just working on yourself. So, how can we increase our patience? right? How can we increase it? There are a number of activities that we can do that can make us a more patient person. So one thing you can do is train a dog. You can do carpentry. You can learn an instrument. You can build a romantic relationship. You can get better at writing. Right? So each one of these things has nothing to do with videography. You can maybe apply videography to it. You can make videos of these things, but that's not what I'm referring to here. What I'm referring to is actually being in that moment and doing that thing. So with training a dog, say if you get a dog and they're a pup, like as soon as you can get it when it's comes from the breeder, you have a lot of work ahead of you. My dog is going on 5 now, and she's just starting to kind of figure it out. Like she's become a pretty good dog, but that has taken a crazy amount of time. When I first got her, I would have training sessions with her every day, usually around 3 times per day. I would take her out in the morning. She's a Malinois, so she does all this jumping stuff. I would bring her to this school where there was all these big blocks to jump on. I taught that dog discipline. I taught that dog obedience. I taught her how to behave. I taught her how to lie down and wait for her food. And when we moved to this new place, I taught her how to stay close to me off leash. We have a giant forest by where we're living. I take her out there every day still, and she's getting better and better and better and better. And honestly, I've seen obviously the improvement in the dog, but with myself, I've seen a massive improvement just in my level of patience that I now possess, because it's taken so much patience to observe the dog doing a bad thing and correcting that behavior over time, and believing, having the faith that with time, the dog is going to figure it out, right? So with something like carpentry, there's a very physical skill that you can easily screw up. Like if you're building a wall, or say you're fixing a gate. I fixed a gate a couple of years ago at this house I'm living at. That takes a lot of patience. You have to sit down, you have to think about what the problem is, and then you have to write out a materials list, maybe draw out a little plan about what you want to do. You have to go to the store, you have to spend money and purchase the things to build the thing. Then you have to put it all together, you have to measure, make cuts, and then put screws in and build the thing. And that takes time. So I think that really is the whole connector here, right? Is time. Spend time doing things that you enjoy, that are outside of video work, and allow yourself to really, really get lost in the process of spending that time on that thing, and understanding that the point of doing the thing is the end result, right? So let's tie it back to video business right now. The purpose of having a conversation with somebody about making a video is for you to make money, right? This is how you sustain this whole thing. If there isn't money involved in some way, shape, or form, then it's just a hobby. And you don't want it to be a hobby. You want this to be your career. You want to be sustainable and support yourself and your family. And that is hard. It's really hard. Now, some other examples of things that develop patience here. You can learn an instrument. I've been playing guitar since I was 10, and I think I'm pretty sufficient at it. It took me a long time to get good to the point where if I was playing in a group of people, I could just pick up the guitar and just like noodle away however I want to. And it's a really fulfilling and enjoyable thing that I still do to this day every once in a while. And I have taken the patience required to learn that thing and do that thing, and I apply it to the business that I do every day. Building a romantic relationship can be an extremely challenging thing that does take a lot of patience sometimes. When you're with a person and you're growing and changing and you're getting better and then worse, and they're getting better and then worse and then better, and you're on this path together, but you're also all over the map in your own head, it can be very challenging to remember to listen, remember to give your love unconditionally, to remember that they have their own problems too, and it's not all about you. And this really also is a great metaphor for the sales process. You're engaging in a relationship with a person, and the romance of it is the fact that you're creating value for each other. That's what a relationship is. It's a valuable thing that you're both involved in, that you expect things from that person and they expect things of you. But that all comes back to having expectations on yourself and not overstepping those expectations on them. The only expectation you should have really is the fact that you want to be respected and compensated and have an enjoyable experience. But that only happens if you can begin that within yourself, which is a massive mindset hack that you can enjoy. If you shift that in your mind and you understand that if you can give yourself respect and you can expect things of yourself, then you can extend that outside of yourself into situations with people that you want to work with. And here's another one: get better at writing. So by writing, I don't mean handwriting. Mine's obviously atrocious. But I mean sitting down, pen to paper, and like actively writing very, very regularly. That is a very challenging thing to do. Writer's block is an excuse that we've kind of put in our heads to, step away and procrastinate and not get it done. It is not all that challenging to just sit down and write. It's not. For me, at this point. It was for a very, very long time. I remember being in university, I would put off writing a paper for weeks, sometimes even like a month. If I had that long of a due date in the future, I would wait until the night before, and then I would sit down and I would write it out. However, that's such a different thing. I feel as though if at that point in my life I was sitting down and writing every single morning, then just spitting a paper out would have been no problem whatsoever. Because the more you sit and just force yourself to write a very specific amount of words or sentences, paragraphs, the more the words just start to flow out of you, and that obviously benefits you in more ways than just one. Of course, you're going to get quicker at answering emails. Of course, you're going to be able to process your thoughts a lot easier, because when you put a pen down and you're just writing exactly what's in your head without judging it, then you're very connected to what's going on inside of your mind. Now, the obvious other benefit, which is the entire purpose of this video, is the idea of developing patience. Now, patience also exists in the situations that you find yourself in on a daily basis while you are having these sales conversations with prospective clients. The only time you should really get aggressive and force somebody into doing something is if you know without a doubt in your mind that they are scared, basically. You need to have the potential client's best interests at heart at all times, no matter what. If you are doing this for the wrong reasons, if you are forcing somebody to sign something and give you money and work with you if they don't feel comfortable doing it, and you know they don't feel comfortable doing it, and you're tricking them into do it, that is not morally correct. And again, I've said this a couple times in this video, you are going to pay for it one way or the other. Usually it's within your own consciousness, and not to mention the fact that you're going to be giving this person therapy the entire time you're working with them. And then at the end of it, say they sign with you for 6 months, which is something that has happened to me in the past. They're just not going to work with you again. And then you're going to have to go and find another client anyway. So is it not better to pick a specific niche, right? And make sure that it's stuff that you like, like anything. It could be anything. And the way to really narrow this down and understand the best types of niches and businesses to work with is to keep in mind the 4 pillars of any successful business that actually has an impact on people's lives, right? So that's health, wealth, relationships, and happiness, right? So health, let's break that down. We've got chiro, we've got gyms, personal trainers, we've got eye doctors who I have actually worked with, and I've made a lot of money working with eye doctors through actually one of the marketing companies that I had mentioned. It's a great industry. It is always going to be there. People are always going to be concerned about their health. And by the way, this is ranked in order, right? So order of importance, how people value it. You know, your health is your wealth. But now moving on to wealth, this could be mortgage brokers, right? It could be realtors. Mind you, if you are working with realtors, you have to know the game. You have to understand that they want speed, high output. It's a fast moving industry, and you would almost be better off doing retainers with them where you did their marketing. So you're not just shooting their listings, you're actually helping them with the marketing and their social media posts. I'm just gonna ditch all this for a sec. Let's get into relationships, right? Relationships can kind of be a tough one. I mean, maybe like some sort of therapist. Relationship to self, like you could work with coaches, like life coaches, that type of thing. You could make their content for them. That's about all I can think of for that one. I don't know. Happiness. This is stuff that's a little bit more hobby-esque, you know. I would say musicians. I have one musician in particular I worked with for quite a while, and then he kind of developed different interests, but that was quite a profitable relationship in more ways than one for quite a few years there. Musicians, we got like artists, we got community stuff, right? So this includes, say, like a performance arts center, which was another type of client that I had for a couple of years. That started during COVID. They were, you know, putting on events for the community, which brought people together and made people feel happy. Within all of these things, all of these different types of niches, all right? We got health, wealth, relationships, happiness. You're gonna pick one niche. Right? Pick one. Okay? Just one. And you're going to make a list. You're going to make a list of 100 people to work with. You want 100 people on that list. And then you're going to reach out to every single one of them via email to start. And then after you've done email, maybe some will get back to you, maybe some won't get back to you. After you've done that, you're going to do the phone call, right? So email, then phone. And then if you're still not getting any traction, you're just gonna go in there in person. And what you want to do is you want to have a conversation with a decision maker, somebody who can decide that they want to have videos made for whatever it is that they do. Now, as you're going through this process, this is going to set you up for a lot of success, because here's the beautiful thing. Number one, you're getting the benefit of having a lot of conversations. So you're going to get better and better and better at having these conversations, and it's going to turn into more opportunities for you because you're going to get better at expressing why what you do is so important for any business, brand, what have you, community event. It is an important thing, and you need to be an educator in terms of what it is that you are offering these people. So having multiple conversations with multiple people in the exact same industry, you're going to really start to find that you really understand a lot about what you do. Instead of just posting online and waiting for the opportunities to come to you, you're actually going out there and you're looking for the opportunities yourself. You're mining, if you will, or if you want to look at it in like a primitive state, like our ancestors, you're hunting and gathering. You're looking for hunting grounds. You're getting out there, you're finding opportunities, and you're acting on those opportunities. Now, not all of these are going to work out. You know, you're going to get maybe probably 2% or like 2.5% of these businesses or organizations or brands, they're going to want to talk to you. And that's just talking, right? That's not even like actually signing something. So that's 2.5 of the 100 that are going to actually want to move forward and take you seriously and consider having a conversation with you, which is why you have to have such a massive list of people to talk to in the first place. Now, again, bringing this all home, this takes patience. There is no way around this. There's not a lot of ways to succeed and grow as a videographer who is working locally and working with people in your community. There's not a lot of ways to grow and succeed and do this thing unless you are following this kind of growth strategy where you're organically reaching out to people and having the patience to persist and have the faith that it is going to turn into opportunities for you. A great mindset to maintain is that you have your entire life to do this. You are going to be doing this hopefully for a very long time. You've chosen this career. You're going to keep doing it forever and ever. What's it matter if you had a meeting and it fell through and then, you know, it didn't work out and you have to move on to the next one? It doesn't matter, because every single conversation you have, every single opportunity that comes to the surface and you're met with, it is just that. It's an opportunity. Until you sign a retainer or there's a deposit in your bank account, it is nothing. Right? So you just keep going and you keep digging until you feel like you can kind of just coast and hang out for a few minutes and look back on the thing that you created, because it is a beautiful and fulfilling thing to be able to do this for a living. And I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will see you later.